Hello and welcome to TTV. Happy New Year. It's great to have this first episode of 2015. I'm Andrew James.
I'm Jordan Marshall.
And I'm Elliot Williams.
Now, recently, one of our teachers have won an award. Jordan, could you explain that a bit better?
Actually, yes. Mr.Harpell recently saved a man's life. The guy was choking, and he used the Heimlich maneuver on him. Let's go see what the story is about.
The award was recognition, the life-saving award. St. John Ambulance has a recognition for situations that happen that require first aid. Well, the situation was an elderly gentleman started to choke. There was a recognized that something was happening, and you could see coffee was dispersing from his nose. So he basically excused himself from the table, and he covered his nose, and you could see the cough, and he was working his way to the bathroom. So I recognized a potential problem, so I followed him. Up until then, I only knew his first name as Jack. So in the bathroom of the restaurant, I asked if he was all right, and you could see in his eyes that there was definitely a disheartened for a condition that he was definitely, anxiety was stepping in. I asked if I could deliver some back blows and help dislodge what was blocking his throat. And of course, yes, so he okayed and authorized first aid. So I asked him to cough and to cough as hard as he could. And I delivered 5 back blows between his back ribs and the back shoulder blades. And that didn't completely do as much as I thought it would, so I moved to 5 abdominal thrusts. The thrust helped move and dislodge a little bit of material. You could see some of the actual food come up. He basically spit into the sink. We turned on the water. I continued with 5 more back blows, 5 more abdominal thrusts, and then you could see the tears in his eyes, and you could see that he was starting to breathe. His airway was clear. He turned and he looked at me and he said, "You realize you're beating up a chief of police that's retired from Sterling Rodden and getting away with this?" Well, earlier than that, we met at Staples. Jack was actually looking at some of the printer labels for CD and DVD covers. So one thing led to another. He ended up buying the printer, and then he asked if he could call me if he had any problems with it. So of course I gave him my phone number, and that's what led to Jack phoning me. And so my wife and I went over and gave him a hand with the printer. Well, we ended up taking the printer back. There was an issue with the printer, so we returned the printer. We ended up buying another printer. And then, of course, Jack suggested he wanted to take us out to lunch, my wife and I. So we insisted it was fine, but okay, he insisted he wanted to take us out for lunch. So we went out for lunch and to a local restaurant in Belleville, and that's where the situation started. Well, July 7th and 8th, I actually completed the course, a 2-day, 16 hours at St. John Ambulance on Montrose Road. And lo and behold, you end up using the skills that you're taught. And to be recognized, I mean, I didn't realize there would be any recognition, but I received a phone call and I was asked to be at City Hall in Belleville and whether I could make the November 9th date. Well, it was interesting because I didn't realize that it would be that much of an event. I mean, the Mayor of Belleville, Mayor Ellis, the 2 of the representatives from St. John Ambulance, Kevin Ferguson from Kingston. It was really nice to see that the recognition was there for something that would be expected with anybody with first aid training. Well, yes, it was interesting to see the article come out in the paper and the fact that Jack Foster and I, we now talk weekly. We've become good friends. And Jack lives right in the community of Belleville, very close to Moira. And as a retired police officer, a police chief from Sterling Rodden, he has all kinds of stories to tell. And he actually completed the St. John Ambulance in 1952, the first aid course. I would highly recommend the St. John Ambulance course. It's something that gives you the confidence. If you ever need those skills, if you ever need to apply first aid, they give you the hands-on, the confidence that you need to be able to use the knowledge that you're taught.
Very impressive. Now, you've seen a lot of our faces through this, but we have a lot of people on TTV who don't get as much time. Let's take a look at some of the behind the scenes.
Well, I got interested in it because my brother did it. And my brother really seemed to enjoy it, so I decided to follow, in his footsteps. Covered football and hockey. I got to do graphics, which is basically the bar at the top of the screen that comes down to tell you the goals scored and the time. Well, I've learned basically how the Kojiko sets up and takes down all their stuff, which would be helpful if I got into a job doing filming and other related. My educational goals is maybe to get into the filming industry, hopefully, and that's basically it. Well, I would say it's like really fun, and so if you have some free time and you want to get some volunteer hours, I would suggest just go for it.
I got involved with Kojiko and Quinny Sports mainly because before I came here, this is my first year in Belleville, so before I came here, I was from a small town called Cloyne. Very small town, not a lot of people, and I did a lot of editing and filming for whenever our school that I used to go to did sports. I was the guy they'd send out for pictures and filming, everything like that, so I tried to find the best place to fit in for filming and well, not really much photography, but filming, and so Kojiko is a perfect fit for me here. What I've done, I've covered a few events. I've covered basketball, football, and hockey, and that's basically it, yeah. Well, for basketball and football, I've covered one of two camera positions. I've covered camera 1 and 2, but and then I've also, for hockey, done audio. Those are the only positions I've done so far, hoping I can do more. Camera 2 is basically just a wide shot. It's your classical wide shot you see on TV. So if you're filming hockey, it's the wide shot that follows the action wherever it goes, and wherever it's kind of your wide shot to show the entire ice and a little bit of the audience. My favorite job I've done at Kojiko would have to be camera 2, mainly because you're in the arena, you get to experience it all, and you get the places, the location of where you get to film, and the cameras where they're located and everything. It's so professional up there that it's great experience for the future and what I plan to go and do, so it's great experience to get it early. Some skills that I've learned how to properly take down a camera. Some of the equipment that they use is really expensive and high tech, and equipment that I've never really used before, so it's good to work with that, and the skills that I've also learned is I learned how to do audio, so all the soundboard controls and all the knobs on a soundboard is which looked really confusing to me at the beginning, but once you start doing it, it's not so bad. You're starting to get into a routine, and learning those skills are pretty valuable. My educational goals is, so I'm at Moira Secondary School. I'm in grade 11, so my educational goals from here is hopefully to go to college and go for broadcasting, so trying to get into like TSN, sports broadcasting, anything covering sports, filming, anything like that I'd love to do professionally, or 3D character animation, so anything ranging from like animation movies or computer games or video games in general, just the animation of the characters and everything, which would interest me a lot.
I got interested in Quinny Sports Zone through Trojan Television. It was a club that was around the school. I was interested in technology, and it seemed like a good match. So With these, I've been doing end cams or shoulder cams. And the purpose behind that is it's a camera with a bit more free movement than the two main cameras. What you do with these two shots, with these two with the two end cameras, is you try and get more interesting shots. So you try and get up close to the players. With the hockey, when they come and hit the boards, you try and get that in the image because it's obviously a very exciting moment and a lot of energy there. Personally, I'm not going into a video field, but in the university I'm going to, I believe there are a number of AV clubs, which I'd definitely be interested in participating in. Definitely give it a try. It's not necessarily for everyone, but if it is for you, it will be a great time. It's a good way of just kind of getting out there, getting to know some people, especially if you are interested in the AV industry. It's very good because you get to know some of the local members of the industry.
Well, actually, I started volunteering with Kojiko before I started doing Quinny Sports Zone. I guess what really kind of happened is my mom works with a producer at Kojiko, so my mom kind of knew that I wanted to go into this field, and she talked to him and got me volunteering, and then it just kind of went on from there. Oh, I've covered all sorts of events from football, soccer, baseball, hockey, all that kind of stuff, all sports, and all fun. Well, I try to do as many jobs as I possibly can because the more you can do, the more fun it is, the more you learn, and also the industry interests me. So I've done jobs from graphics, audio, directing, which is one of my favorites. In directing, what you do is you call out the shots that each of the cameras have. We run multiple cameras, and I'm the one who calls out which camera goes up on to air or what the viewer sees. Well, definitely the thing at Kojiko that you really need in this industry is that you need to be patient for stuff to happen. You also need to be able to think fast. So if something goes wrong, a cable doesn't work, you need to be able to know to go out there and fix it and to get that stuff done before you actually go on shows. And the other thing that's really important is deadlines. If you go live, you go live. There's nothing you can do to stop that, and you need to be prepared to go live. Well, my favorite job is probably directing just because I feel like something that I do gets noticed by people, something that I do kind of gets involved in the show. I am kind of in charge of people, I guess you could kind of say, and I'm the one who kind of takes responsibility for the stuff, and I like being able to be the responsible one in the situation. Well, right now I'm at Moira Secondary School, so I'm studying. I'm going to go for a video field, and I'm going to try to go into broadcast television. Well, definitely, if you want to volunteer at Kojiko, it's so much fun. You get to learn a whole bunch of different things. I mean, when I first walked into the truck, just to see the amount of equipment that they used and just to see what goes on in a live television production, like, you never know what goes on behind the cameras. You always see what's in front of the cameras, and it's interesting to see what's in behind. So it's always fun. You meet many people that know their stuff, that are fun to be around, and it's just overall a fun experience.
Thank you guys all for watching Trojan TV. We hope you stick with us throughout 2015, and see you around next time.